What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Johnny B here with devslopes.com, and in this lesson we are going to take a break from the API for just a little bit and work on our UI a little bit more. All right, so right now we can open up and go into login, go to our don't have an account, but if we click on this, it doesn't do anything. We want to be able to pick our avatar image. All right, so what we want to end up with is when we're here and we click on our choose avatar, we want to jump over into this view where we have a collection view of a whole bunch of different cute little avatar images. And speaking of, this is the I got these assets off of the noun project, and so to give attribution where attribution is due, these are the artists that created these awesome assets. Okay, so you can find each of these at from these authors here at the nounproject.com. Okay. All right, so what do we need to do? We need to create a view controller with a segmented control that will toggle between kind of the dark and light themed avatars. We got a back button, and that's pretty much it. It shouldn't be too hard, but let's get cracking, and we're gonna see if we can get through all of this in just this one video. Okay, so without me jabbering on any further, let's get going. All right, so first off, let's jump into storyboard. We're going to need a new view controller. So I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit here, scroll over and drop in a new view controller. Okay, let's go ahead and add our segue right away. So I'm gonna control drag from create account VC to our new avatar picker VC. And I'm going to select the segue and come over to our attribute inspector and give it an identifier. We're going to call this to create account. And just like we've been doing with our other segues, I'm going to copy it and jump into our constants file. And I'm going to add a segue constant. So I'm going to say let to avatar picker equal to, and then I'm going to paste in what I copied in there. Did I say to create account? That's not what I wanted. Back to storyboard, not to create account. Is that what I called it? To, I meant to avatar picker. Oh, I've been working in that create account VC for too long. All right, to avatar picker. I'm going to copy that, jump over to constants. There we go. That was weird. All right, I'm going to save that. Let's jump back over to our storyboard. And actually, let's open up our assistant editor with our create account VC selected. And this time I do mean that one, because we're going to add the action for it if we don't already have it. Let's see if we have it in create account VC. Let's see here. Hey, we do already have it. I remember adding that now. Okay, so create account VC. What we're going to do here, pick avatar pressed. Okay, good. So we're going to say perform segue, and it looks like my autocomplete is on the fritz, so I'm going to clean it holding Shift Command K. All right, clean succeeded, and I'm going to say perform. There we go, perform segue with identifier, and that's identifier is to avatar picker. Sender is nil. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And all right, now let's jump back into storyboard. So now when we click on that button, we are going to get sent on over to this empty view controller. And let's go ahead and start adding some stuff that we need. We're going to need a button in the top left that is going to take us back to this view right here. And so let's go ahead and get rid of its title and change its image to, this one is going to be called smack back. All right, so right there, I'm gonna put you right there and constrain you. It's gonna be 8 from the top with margins checked, and width and height, add 4 constraints. Then we're gonna need a segmented control right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of that awful blue tint. I really can't stand it. Okay, right here, tint. Let's give it our nice blue color. There we go. All right, and then we're going to change its titles right here. Segment 0 first, the title is dark is going to be our default. Then change it to segment 1 and change that to light. All right, that looks great. All right, I'm gonna constrain this, and we're gonna go 8 from the top with margins checked, and our width we're going to set to 160. And we are going to center that horizontally in container. Wonderful. All right, now let's go ahead and add in a collection view. All right, so here in our library, just search for collection view and just drop that in, and go ahead and let's give this some constraints of 20 from the top, 0 from the left, 0 from the right, and 0 from the bottom. Add those 4 constraints. Let's see here. Then here, let's see, where is that? Here in the size inspector, yeah. Set the cell size to 100 and 100 just for starters. And then let's go ahead and add an image view to our prototype cell. So right here, and of course it's huge, so we're going to resize that up just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and give it its constraints. So this is going to be without constraint to margins checked. So unchecked, we're going to go 10, 10, 10, and 10. All right, wonderful. All right, and that is pretty much all of the UI that we are going to require here in this view controller. A couple of things we're going to do on the collection view though. Make sure you got your collection view selected. We are going to give it some section inset, so that's just some padding on the left and right. We're going to give it padding of 20 on the left and right there. All right, wonderful. All right, I'm going to save that, and you know what, let's go ahead and create our view controller file that is going to be hooked up to this view right here. So over here in controller, I'm going to right click and say new file. This is going to be Cocoa Touch class of subclass UI view controller. And we're going to call this avatar picker VC. All right, and press next and create. All right, I'm going to clean up this stuff that we don't use. Delete this account or comment. And then I'm going to hold Option and click on main.storyboard so that we can add our IB outlets. All right, so scroll over here. Going to close this right panel, give us a little bit more room. And we're going to need an action for this back button. Oh, forgot to set the class for this view controller. So we do need this right panel back. Go over to our identity inspector. For the class, select avatar picker VC. Okay, good. Now I can control drag over here, and I can say back pressed, and this is going to be an action. And touch up inside is good. And while we're just here, I'm going to right off the bat, I'm going to say not perform. This is going to be dismiss. Animated is true, and the completion is nil. All right, so that takes care of the back button. Then we're going to need an outlet for the collection view. So here, I'm going to write outlets, and I'm going to control drag from the collection view over to our avatar picker VC, and this is going to be an outlet, and I'm just going to call this collection view. I'm going to say connect, and then I'm going to grab the segmented control and get an outlet here, and that says we're just going to call this segment control, and that's an outlet. Then we're going to do connect. Okay, now remember when we click on this, we want to toggle back and forth between the dark and the light avatar images. So we're also going to need an IB action for the segmented control. So again, control dragging, we're going to make an action, and the event, there's a few here, but the event that we want is value changed. So whenever we click on a different one than what is selected in the segment control, this function is going to be called value changed. All right, and we're going to name this segment control changed. All right, looks good. All right, jumping back, closing our assistant editor. Now we're just here in our avatar picker VC. What do we need next? All right, quiz. we need to be able to work with collection views, so we need to implement our protocols. That's right. So it's going to say UI collection view delegate, UI collection view a data source. And a little tip, you don't actually need to type out the entire thing, and it doesn't even need to be in the order. Watch this. So I'm going to write UI collection, then I'm going to write flow, and there we go. UI collection view delegate flow layout. Instead of having to type out that whole thing, you're able to just get that to pop right up. All right, and there we go. So we have added our protocols. Now we need to set our delegate and data source. So I'm going to say collection view dot delegate is equal to self. So if we click on delegate, this is just saying the description says the object that acts as the delegate of the collection view, and the delegate is this view controller. That's why we're setting it to self. Then we're going to say collection view dot data source is also self. So I'm going to save this and build it, and we should get some errors because now that we have implemented our protocols, we need to conform to them. So let's go ahead and do that. We need cell for item at. Cell for item at, yep, that's the one we want. And just for now, we're going to say return a UI collection view cell. That looks good. Next up, we need to know how many sections we have. So we're going to say number of sections, and we only have one section, so we're going to return 1. And then we're going to need to know how many items are in the section. So we're going to say number of items in section. And if we pop over to our assets, we see that we have numbered 0 through 27. So we have in total 28. So return 28 items. All right, let's go ahead and build that and see how that looks. All right, so the build was successful, but we could probably even run this. And if we come over here, don't have an account, click on it. Uh-oh, we got a crash. Let's see what happened. Cell for item does not have a reuse identifier. Cells must be retrieved by calling. Okay, so forgot to do a couple of things here in our cell for item at thingamajig. So what we're going to do is we need to create a custom class for our cell. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to say view, and I'm going to say new file, and this is going to be a CocoaTouch class, and this is going to be of subclass UI collection view cell. All right, and this is going to be called avatar cell. All right, I'm going to say next. All right, so now we have our custom class for the avatar cell. Let's go ahead and open up our main.storyboard in the assistant editor, and we're going to set our prototype cell here equal to this new avatar cell class. So with the collection view item selected here, we're going to go to its class and say avatar cell. So now with that done, we can select our image in here, and we can drag over and create an IB outlet here in our avatar cell class, and here we can say avatar image. Okay, and connect that, and that's pretty much all of the connections that we need. It's a pretty simple cell. So we're going to come back here, and let's go ahead and actually set up our view and our functions that we're going to be creating as well. So first I'm going to say awake from nib. So delete that placeholder. If you click on awake from nib, it says it prepares the receiver for service after it has been loaded from an interface, builder, archive, or nib file. All right, so this is the first thing that's called when it wakes up from being a nib. All right, and so we are going to say, it also says, let's see here, just wanted to show you this other thing. It says you must call the super implementation awake from nib to give parent class the opportunity to perform any additional initialization they require. All right, so we're going to say super.awake from nib. There we go. All right, and then we're going to create a function here called setUpView. Okay, and if we look at our design mockups, it looks like our cells have a background gray and rounded corners. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that here. So we're going to say self.layer.background color is equal to UI color dot light gray dot cg color. Okay, then we're gonna say self dot layer dot corner radius is equal to 10, and then we're gonna say self dot clips to bounds is equal to true, and that will just make sure that the view doesn't spill outside of the corner radius corners there. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this, and let's jump into our main.storyboard. And we need to add a reuse identifier. That was one of the reasons for the crash. So our avatar cell, let's see here in the attributes inspector under identifier, we need to say, give this a reuse identifier. So we're going to say avatar cell, and that's our reuse identifier. So I'm going to copy that and jump over to our avatar picker VC. And here in our cell for item at function, I am going to say if let cell is equal to collection view dot dq reusable cell with reuse identifier, and our reuse identifier is, whoops, did I copy that? Yeah, avatar cell for, and that's just index path, curly brace. So if we are able to get a cell dequeued and the reuse identifier for it is avatar cell, then we are going to, let's just return that cell. And we need to cast this though. We need to say as avatar cell. Else, we're just going to return an empty avatar, come on, autocomplete cell. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and save that and run it and see how that looks. What we should see is just a whole bunch of rounded gray squares. All right, gonna click here, click on login, don't have an account, click here, and you know what I think I forgot to do? Silly me, here in the avatar cell, indeed we did not say, we did not put the function, we did not call the function that we created. Let's try that one more time, run. All right, gonna click here, login, don't have an account, choose avatar. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, so we are making progress. You know what? How long we've been going? Over 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and stop this. This is a pretty good stopping point. We got our collection views set up, and the next ones we'll just go ahead and finish up the rest of the logic to show the specific and the correct avatar images here. We'll get to where you can click on them and set that as the user's avatar image, and maybe even we'll start working on the background color. All right, so making some good progress here. I hope you guys are having fun. I'm going to, before we finish up, I'm going to go ahead and commit and save our changes here. So I'm going to say git status, git add dot, git commit dash m, and this is lesson 13. And with that, I will see you guys all in the next one.